So, Mr. Bhaskar, can you tell me what are you doing with this parcel that you have got from the post office? If I can see correctly, it is a parcel you have got from where?
Dr. S.M. Yahya Ibrahim, a respected
Who is
teacher,
he?
a person who runs a magazine, edits it. It's his own personal initiative where he appreciates good critical essays from contributors who wish to write and wish to expound upon literary theory and concepts that they are interested in putting into the prism of real social subjects.
So, when did you get this parcel?
I received it today,
Uh,
and I
and
had
when had you sent the poem that you had written?
no. This is not about a poem that I have written.
Which language does it concern with?
Uh, which language does it concern with it? It is published primarily in English,
I
but
wanted
the
to
author
ask the
is of
language of the magazine.
but the author is also but the author can also contribute in other languages, but it is preferred that he or she should contribute specifically in English language because then it helps to maintain the similitude of languages, and the contributions remain similar on parity with all the other contributors.
So, what have you written in this magazine? A poem or
I
a story or
no,
what?
actually, I have contributed a critical essay on Jhumpa Lahiri's novel.
Oh, the book that you had, one of his book you had.
Her.
You had it back in J sector.
I had it back in J sector. In fact, that book uh,
When you did not have money to
captured my
buy
attention
Costco
back
wall,
then.
but you were buying books, the
Yes.
money which you had.
I have utilized a lot of my pocket money by buying books that were not concerning with my syllabus or the uh, books that I had to read in school. So this is
So,
about,
today are we going to unpack it?
yes, we are going to unpack it. This is so when you contribute something, you get a contributor's copy. Okay, so this is
So, I
this is a
am.
magazine, a very well respected magazine. The uh,
I
editor
guess
of
this is free of cost.
every contributor gets a
You don't have to
copy.
pay
No,
any price for it.
no. What happens is when you contact the person concerned,
So, how did you get in touch with this person?
I
This
saw
professor of English
uh,
who resides in Jharkhand. How did you get in contact with this man?
I came to know about Sir and his magazine through Nandini ma'am.
Is it well reputed?
Yes, it is very well received indeed in Bihar, Jharkhand, MP, and contributions come in fact, pour in from all the Hindi speaking states.
So readers have to take a subscription of.
No, no, they are not supposed to take subscriptions. So for this purpose only, what happens is when you submit an article, and
How many pages of article have you submitted?
a 3,000 word critical research
So
article.
in terms of pages, how many pages you submitted?
It was 10 11 pages, but
So you sent it online,
yes, through
not
the
via post.
no through the email ID.
Okay.
So when you send it, what they do is they get it peer reviewed. So let's say if they receive 100 entries, 200 entries, which they generally receive.
So
So what
this
happens
work is
is,
plagiarism free.
yes, and then what happens is they get it peer reviewed. They get it checked on the softwares that they use, and then what happens is that they notify you
Hmm.
that your work has been selected and it shall get published. What happens
So when were you notified?
is that, see, the online edition or the notification that your work has been selected and will get published happens beforehand. So actually, when you get the print issue, the online version of the magazine is already on the internet for, let's say, a good 7 8 months. But the printing, the physical copy that you receive, the print issue, so to speak, is received after a gap of at least 5 6 months.
So you are taking out the book
Yes.
out of the parcel
Yes. Yes. Yes.
envelope that you have in your hand.
Yes.
So
This is the envelope. Very good and in fact very sturdy packaging.
that's the government of India work, I guess.
Yes.
I think they have improved a lot because they have to compete with
So
digital
the name of the
platforms as well.
magazine.
Das Literaries.
Yes.
Sorry if I pronounced it wrong.
This journal is called Das LITERARISCH.
So can you show your piece of essay that you have
Yes, I'll show you.
written?
See, reading Jhumpa Lahiri is the namesake as an identity fracture between the self and the other.
Bhaskar Bhushan.
And then you have this section where you submit essays is called Das Critique.
So what was the topic of your essay? What had you written on?
Huh?
What had you written on?
This is the novelist is Jhumpa Lahiri.
But what was the
Lahiri.
course subject? What was the matter of the content basically? What was the content of the essay?
The distinction between the self and the other. How
Was it philosophical?
everything is philosophy. Literary theory is nothing but philosophy.
You are adding a new dimension to it.
No, there is nothing new that I speak of right
I
now.
have never heard any school teacher saying that literature is philosophy. I had
See,
a
literature is philosophy when you try to find out patterns that are there, lying there in front of your eyes, ready to be, in fact, waiting to be deciphered. Because if you look at it from a different perspective, let's say from a structuralist perspective, it has certain elements that form a structure within which a story operates. So, if we use that lens, we can say that there is a hero, then there will be a villain, or let's say an anti-villain. The story will have certain elements of surprises. Then uh, it will try to give you a message through a certain catharsis that happens at the point of climax, when the story peaks, when the elements collide, or when the elements come together. So this is merely one way of looking at a story, but there are several other ways, equally qualified, equally venerable, equally potent, and it merely depends on the application that you try to put this into. And then what happens is the result may or may not vary depending on the broadness and the expanse of the ideas that you wish to enframe the output into.
is Jhumpa Lahiri alive or dead?
She's alive, healthy and alive.
Is he a woman
Is
or
she?
oh she is?
Yes.
Oh, I did
You
not
you you
know.
haven't seen the film Namesake, Tabu and
No,
Irfan
no, no,
Khan.
no. I think it's in English language, but I haven't seen it.
You should see that.
Yesterday I was watching
You
Pulp
you
Fiction. That's
you
why I didn't get the
no,
chance.
it's a different text, but it's a text that also needs to be studied for its structure, for its unique
You had
structure.
recommended me to watch that film, Pulp Fiction, starring
Yes,
John
that was the
Travolta.
first experience of me
It,
watching a non-linear narrative, and I was blown away that how could a story be told in such a way where you're dealing with the fragments of the same story, knowing fully that these things are happening. So we are accustomed to that idea of linear vision, or let's say a story moving in one direction with all the elements maturing at a certain point. Unlike Mr. Tarantino, who decides to create a story in a unique way where A day is taken, for example, three three or four elements of different characters that collide with each other in different setups in different times, but within a gap of, let's say, 2 3 days, and all these stories create a circle, ultimately a circle of events that lead to somebody's death, in fact somebody getting shot, somebody realizing that uh,
Do you remember?
nothing, his life being saved is nothing short of divine intervention. That bad motherfucker
Do you remember
realizes
the?
that this is his redemption, that he'll be um, not killing or not taking the path of vengeance.
Do you remember the phrase when where Marcellus Wallace says, "I'm gonna get medieval on your ass"?
Yes. And then there are other elements of pop culture where he's shagged from behind. He's not shagged. In fact, shagged is a very mild term. He's molested.
Billy Boy
Billy
went too
Boy.
far with his ass.
And then Mr. Billy Boy's crotch area is blasted.
Yes. And Butch was forgiven.
Yes, and Butch is forgiven. You
And
see
he
the
left the town later.
you see the elements of Hong Kong cinema
Yes.
being referred to as a part of the mise en scène of this whole construction of the scene.
So, in terms of philosophy, do you see any philosophy in the film?
Yes. It in fact,
Was the
if the
director
film,
trying to convey something philosophical
yes,
by
it
the
is
visual
philosophical.
images?
I'll tell you. The visual images pertain to certain elements of common knowledge, certain elements of, let's say, uh, common folk. And that is why the film is titled Pulp Fiction. He, in fact, defines the meaning of the word pulp.
But why
And
fiction? What was fiction about it?
everything is fictional about it.
Things are happening in real. How could it be fiction then?
How is it happening in real? Everything that you see on celluloid is simulation. The actors are not real. They are people who put themselves in certain roles. They inherit, or let's say they try to get into the shoes of the character that they are supposed to play. And if a film is a film, then it is also a text in play, being seen on the large screen. So it is a part of fiction. I see there are many perspectives with which we can analyze it.
So your essay, and what is the title of it?
I told you.
No,
Reading.
take me to the page number where it starts. My viewers want to know what you have written because
Who
you are
are your viewers?
famous. I have 300 plus subscribers and they keep on demanding bring some new stuff. Reading Jhumpa Lahiri's The Namesake as an identity fracture between the self and the other. It seems that you are trying to compete with Friedrich Nietzsche, the self. Who is this, the self? Are you referring to the Brahman in the
Brahman
Hindu
or the
texts?
Brahman or the Brahma?
The Brahman.
Brahm.
That's how it
the
is pronounced by the Westerners, the Brahman.
No, they are incorrect.
Brahm.
They are incorrect. So let me correct them, or let me be correct at
Are
least.
you challenging the
In
whole Western?
No, I'm not challenging. I'm merely stating a fact that is
Stating a
that
true fact could lead to. Uh,
see. I'm merely stating something that is a part of my culture, and that comes naturally to me. So uh, it is kind of an entitlement that I use the correct pronunciation. I am not going against somebody by merely speaking what is there to be spoken about. It is not Brahman, it's
so,
Brahma.
so can you read some uh, lines from your essays for my viewers?
See, this is about you should read the novel, or at least
Is it a
just
monthly magazine or is it a
no,
half
no.
yearly? What is the?
Only two editions are published every year. There are two editions, or one edition.
Is it a premium magazine or
Yes, it is a premium magazine
not generally available to the public?
published by the Authors Press publication. So this is Das Literarisch.
What does this mean?
In fact, read this.
I cannot pronounce it correctly. That's why I'm not reading. I do not
Then,
want to get
then please do
embarrassed.
read it and enlarge your horizon of language and how meanings are construed and constructed.
You know Murthy very well, don't you?
So it's a biannual, peer-reviewed, international refereed journal of English literary studies and creative writing.
Okay.
It's a biannual,
What is
peer-reviewed.
reviewed?
There are people who review it. There are reviewers, a panel of reviewers.
So they must be competent people.
Yes, they are assistant professors, or for that matter senior professors who review it.
So any final remark?
No, I'm happy.
You're happy. Are you not jubilant?
No, happiness
Is it the
enough.
same?
Happiness is enough. See, when I'm happy, I do not need to be boisterous.
Okay.
So,
Thank you very much for your kind words,
So being happy would be
for
fine
cooperating with me. You answered every question that I asked.
asked.
Yes. This is my pronunciation. Don't try to prove me wrong. Murthy is the one who gives you platform. So don't mess with Murthy.
Yes, yes.